coming up. But first, the 9 headlines at 9 to 9. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar steps ahead with his mission opposition unity, meets Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge and talks are held on a national Gathbandhan. In a truce brokered by Nitish Kumar, Congress says it will back the Aam Aadmi Party government on the contentious Delhi Ordinance. Australia says Namaste Modi. Prime Minister in Sydney on a 2-day visit, big diaspora event and a bilateral schedule with Australian Prime Minister. It is Naya Kashmir G20 moment. Srinagar decks up for the first global event since the Article 370 purge. Superstar Ram Charan attends the meet. After a Bengaluru techie drowns in an underpass, Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka Shiv Kumar identifies 18 dangerous underpasses. Mr. Bomai blames the civic body. Fresh clashes and tension erupt in Manipur after Kuki and Meitei communities clash again. Curfew reimposed in the Manipur capital of Imphal. Bombay High Court pulls up NCB officer Samir Wankhede over leaked WhatsApp chats with Shah Rukh Khan. Wankhede says screenshots were part of the petition he had filed in the court. Wrestling Federation boss Brij Bhushan says he's ready to face a narco test on sexual harassment charges against him. Bajrang Punia, an alleged victim's counter, says we are ready for a narco test too. The Reserve Bank of India allays fears over 2,000 rupee notes, say the note still remains legal tender, assures shops cannot turn away customers with the 2,000 rupee note. And Olympian Neeraj Chopra attains a career high rank to become the world's #1 in men's javelin. 25-year-old scripts history. But first to an important political story that's breaking this evening. Nitish Kumar, Bihar Chief Minister, has held a meeting with the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and has brokered a peace of sorts between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. This could be an important prelude to potential opposition unity moves. The Congress now says, according to sources, that it will support AAP in its moves to confront the Modi government over the ordinance that was moved limiting the powers of the Kejriwal government. Kejriwal, meanwhile, is to go on an all-India tour to gather support for the Aam Aadmi Party government, which, remember, on Friday there was an ordinance by which its powers were taken away to transfer officers. So all of this is coming on the backdrop, remember, of opposition unity moves gathering some momentum in the backdrop of the Karnataka verdict. That's our big story that's coming. We are told that all opposition parties will meet soon. Remember, it was on Friday night that the Narendra Modi government, through an ordinance, effectively nullified a judgment of the Supreme Court by which the power to transfer officers and control over services were given to the Kejriwal government. Those powers have now been taken back effectively, and as a result of which a full-blown confrontation is brewing between the centre and the state. This is not the first such confrontation. It appears at the moment opposition-ruled states have much to complain about when it comes to their dealings with the Modi government.
Arvind Kejriwal is on the war path against the Narendra Modi government after the centre stripped the Delhi government of powers on services. The Delhi Chief Minister is trying to rally the opposition together on services ordinance issued to bypass a Supreme Court verdict. The Aam Aadmi Party chief has a hectic week ahead. He will be meeting West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, Shiv Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray and NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar. He has already met Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and his deputy Tejasvi Yadav.
ये सवाल है भारत के लोकतंत्र का, ये सवाल है भारत के संविधान का, ये सवाल है हमारे संघीय ढांचे का। तो अगर ऐसा राजनीतिक पार्टियां मानती हैं तो उसकी एकजुटता जब ये बिल के स्वरूप में आएगा अध्यादेश तो उस वक्त दिखाने की जरूरत है।
While Aam Aadmi Party is hoping to block the bill in the Rajya Sabha, it may not be easy. Though the NDA is short on numbers in the upper house, it could get support from Jagan Reddy and Naveen Patnaik. The BJP has defended the ordinance that almost puts Kejriwal on par with bureaucrats by setting up a 3-member body to decide on postings and vigilance matters.
जिस तरह से केजरीवाल की सरकार कर रही थी, इसके माध्यम से एक डेडिकेटेड प्रक्रिया संशोधन करके लाई गई है और ये बहुत स्वागत योग्य है, जनहित में है और दिल्ली के भी हित में है और भारत के भी हित में है.
The Delhi government is not the only one facing trouble from the Modi government. From West Bengal to Tamil Nadu to Kerala, opposition-ruled government have been claiming hostility and bias from the governors appointed by the centre. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's raise the big questions. Is the Modi government making Kejriwal a powerless chief minister? Does the ordinance of the Modi government go against the federal spirit of the country? Is Delhi to be treated as an exceptional case? Is it now going to be open war between the Modi government and opposition-ruled states ahead of the 2024 election? Some big questions to be asked. Joining me now, Harish Khurana, the BJP spokesperson, Adil Singh Boparai, the Congress's spokesperson, Jasmine Shah from the Aam Aadmi Party, and Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate at the Supreme Court. To you, Harish Khurana, first, because the BJP will have to answer this question. You're bringing an ordinance late in the night on Friday, just before the Supreme Court is closing, effectively nullifying what the Supreme Court had said in empowering the Kejriwal government when it came to the services and the transfer of officers. You did it, it is argued, because you want to disempower the Kejriwal government. It's against the federal spirit. What's the message the BJP is sending out here, Mr. Khurana?
Rajdeep, first of all, we should understand what the legal status of Delhi is. The legal and administrative status of Delhi is that it's a union territory with special powers. It's not a state, we should understand. But unfortunately, Arvind Kejriwal is not ready to accept that. Problem is, you're talking about why the BJP brought the ordinance. Centre has a full right to bring the ordinance, and it will be. I'm sure it will be passed in the parliament. That is, we are pretty confident about that. We have the numbers for that. But we should understand why we have brought this. See, we should understand.
No, couldn't you have waited till the parliament session?
I'm telling you.
Couldn't you have waited till the parliament session? What was the urgency? The urgency seems to be to create a confrontation and disempower the Kejriwal government, which is an elected government. It's elected by the people.
Rajdeep, let me complete. I'm telling you what was the need of that. We should understand. On 11th of May, the Supreme Court gave a verdict. Immediately after the verdict, Arvind Kejriwal meets Lieutenant Governor and requests him to transfer on one of the officers at a particular that time. Lieutenant Governor requested him, let the audit copy come, let us study, wait for 2-3 days, and we'll do that. Immediately on 12th, they moved to Supreme Court. And we should understand, Ashish More has filed a written complaint. Rajshekhar, 8 officers was writing a clear-cut complaint, and what they are saying, it's a blatant harassment. It's a word I'm talking about. And they are the officers. Who are the officers? They are the officers, All India Civil Service Officer, boss. He's an IAS officer. What do you want to do in Delhi? A constitutional breakdown? Administrative breakdown should happen. Central will remain mum on that. Why you have done this? We have seen in the past, Chief Secretary of Delhi was being beaten up. We have seen Shakuntala Gamblin was being locked in her room. What do you want? The centre should remain silent on that. They can't. Okay. Problem is this. They want to hide their corruption.
You're saying this was done to prevent. I get your point. Okay, you've made your point. You're saying this was done to prevent what you're saying would otherwise be an administrative breakdown because of the clashes between the Kejriwal government and officers. You want to respond to that, Jasmine Shah, that while you are saying this is against the federal spirit of the constitution, it is against the Supreme Court verdict, a 5-0 unanimous verdict which was in your favor. The point being made by the BJP is the Aam Aadmi Party was using this verdict to intimidate officers who are investigating allegations against the AAP government.
Rajdeep, there is a very classic trait of dictators that they will not cede an inch even when voted out of power. And this is precisely what we are seeing in the case of BJP and the Modi government. 3 times elected Chief Minister of Delhi with a mandate of 90% seats in the assembly. They are saying that he is not fit to govern Delhi. And this is nothing but a disrespect for the democratic will of the people. So far, this has been going on for the 8 years. They have been abusing the constitution, reading it as a transactional document. When it gives powers to the SG, he fully exercises it. When it gives powers to the elected chief minister, they do not allow him to exercise it. Finally, the Supreme Court set rest this entire battle. After 8 years, Rajdeep, this judgment has come, which is a lucid judgment. It talks about the basic structure of federalism. What does being a representative government mean? That an elected CM should have powers to govern and fulfill his mandate. But today we are seeing unprecedented scenes. I would say since the times of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, we have never seen such a frontal attack on a Supreme Court constitution bench, which the Modi government has done. These are nothing but political attacks. They are saying, "Aapne ye kar diya, officer ke saath wo kar diya."
But the argument the BJP is saying that you are targeting officers. You are using the judgment to target specific officers, and that will lead to an administrative breakdown.
Rajdeep, if any allegation is there of any nature, please do an investigation. BJP is alleging this. BJP is acting as the judge, and then BJP is becoming the executioner of this judgment that you have harassed officers. It's very convenient. It's very convenient of BJP to say that, because they know very true that the moment this matter goes to Supreme Court, and I must correct you, Rajdeep, this is not an attack on federal spirit. Not just an attack on federal spirit, it is an attack on the basic structure of constitution, where in the last judgment of Supreme Court it has been held that as federalism mandates that the center does not come into the territory of an elected government, be it at the state level or an NCT level of Delhi. Second, it talks about a triple chain of accountability, that you want the CM to be responsible to the people of Delhi. But that will only happen if the bureaucracy is accountable to the people. Very nicely put out. Now, an act or an ordinance cannot alter the constitution or the basic structure of the constitution. A standard 8th civic class student knows that. But BJP says that we have ordinance लाके constitution को amend करेंगे.
Okay.
So this is, nothing but a colorable exercise of power. It is bound to be struck down, but it will also bring a national shame that today we have a prime minister who does not accept defeat. And I think that is what the Modi government will have to answer in the coming year.
Okay, Jasmine Shah, you've spoken. Let's give 30 seconds to quick response from you, Harish Khurana, because the sense is the spirit of the Supreme Court judgment, a unanimous judgment of 5 judges headed by the Supreme Court Chief Justice, has effectively been nullified by your ordinance. What is the message I come back to it that you send out? You are going against the spirit of the judgment of the Supreme Court.
In the same judgment, Rajdeep, para 95, it's clearly said in the Supreme Court judgment, para 95, it clearly says that the center can change the law. If they want to do it, you can bring the ordinance. It's clearly written in para 95. Point number 1. Point number 2, he's saying कि हमें officers चाहिए. Why you are transferring and harassing only those people who are indulged in the inquiry of your corruption? Sheesh Mahal, your Snoop Gate, your Liquor Gate, the people who are investigating it, you're targeting only those people. Why not others? Why are you not transferring others only? So the thing was very much clear. And third important part, BJP is not saying it. All India service officials have written a letter to Lieutenant Governor. 8 people have been harassed and blatantly, the word has been written, blatantly harassed.
These are nothing but fake complaints. I challenge Harish Khurana to show any of these 8 complaints. Show me 8 complaints.
Let's not have.
Show it.
Okay, just a minute. Jasmine Shah, Harish Khurana, there are 2 other guests listening to you. Let's not have crosstalk. Our viewers don't then get the exact information. Therefore, Sanjay Hegde, before I come to Adil Singh Bopara, let me come to you, Mr. Hegde. Give us a sense of the Supreme Court order. Am I right in saying that the spirit of the order was clearly to give more powers to the Kejriwal government, the AAP government? Or was it, as Mr. Khurana is pointing out, gave a little bit of space to the center to decide how Delhi is an exceptional case, and therefore if the center wants to bring in a law to revise in a way the distribution of powers, they are free to do so. The para 95 which was pointed out by Harish Khurana. How do you interpret the Supreme Court judgment and the reaction of the BJP in bringing an ordinance?
Well, let me put it this way. Para 95 has to be read in the context of the entire judgment. The entire judgment, in turn, has to be read in the context of the previous 5-judge judgment also. Continually, what the Supreme Court has been telling has been interpreting the constitution to mean that if you have a representative democracy, then the persons elected must get to rule. They recognize the fact that Delhi is a special case, therefore 3 subjects are kept out of the state's purview. They also recognize the fact that possibly that you can even amend the law to take further subjects out of the purview. But in the judgment itself, when it came to the question of personnel, they said that the personnel should be under the control of the elected government. Now, it is not unknown to have ordinances and enactments which take away the basis of a judgment. You remember that after Shah Banu, the basis of the law was changed. You remember that after Vodafone, the tax matter, the basis of taxation got changed. That is not unknown, but you cannot directly overrule the Supreme Court. Long ago in 1991, the state of Karnataka refused to listen to the Kaveri Water Tribunal and passed an ordinance of its own. The Supreme Court struck it down, saying that you cannot directly overrule a Supreme Court judgment because that would in turn make the legislature a court of appeal. That would be destructive of the rule of law. So what has happened so far, it does appear to me that the very basis of the judgment has been directly overruled.
Okay, so that you're going in a way along with what is being suggested by the Aam Aadmi Party in terms of a judgment overruling the very basis of what the ordinance overruling the very basis of what the Supreme Court said. But to you now, Adil Singh Boparai, because what's interesting today is that we are seeing political parties slowly coming to the support of the Aam Aadmi Party, including, we are told, the Congress Party. The Congress Party on this particular issue seems to be supporting AAP, and it comes at a time when there is much talk of opposition unity. Do you believe, or does the opposition believe, the Congress as the major opposition, that the federal spirit of this constitution that gives powers to state governments is under threat, under assault? From time to time, the Congress also has claimed that the Enforcement Directorate, central agencies being misused to target specific opposition governments?
Mr. Sardesai, the BJP is mutilating the federal structure of our constitution. And this is sheer subversion of law. I will give you 4 instances of the recent past which will vindicate my statement. Number 1. A constitution bench of the Supreme Court interprets Article 239AA. The government of India, like a sore loser, uses the back door to nullify a constitution bench judgment without any basis. I will go one step further. This is a brazen attempt by the Narendra Modi government to undermine the majesty of the Supreme Court of India. Number 1. Number 2, the Maharashtra case. The Supreme Court has categorically said that the conduct of the governor was partisan and malafide. The governor and the Bharatiya Janata Party illegally toppled a legitimately elected government and installed an immoral government. Number 3, I think it is public knowledge and beyond any pale of doubt how the Enforcement Directorate is used as a hound dog to harass, coerce, and arm twist opposition leaders. And once these cases are foisted on opposition leaders, and in the event of them joining the Bharatiya Janata Party, these cases just disappear in thin air. Number 4, how the central government is depriving the state governments of their legitimate financial dues. One state after the other is accusing the central government of withholding GST areas. This is how the Bharatiya Janata Party is making an insidious and a calculated attempt to stifle non-BJP governments and to deprive them of their right to govern and fulfill the aspirations of their voters. We are supporting the Constitution.
Your adversary,
please understand, Mr. Sardesai. Please understand this. We are in support of the Constitution. I am not holding a brief from the Aam Aadmi Party. We're in support for the Constitution of India. Political affiliations are secondary. Today, there is a looming danger to our constitutional fabric. I have said this ad nauseum. The Bharatiya Janata Party is demolishing democracy and our
Yeah, no, I'll let you
constitution
respond, don't
brick
worry.
by brick. And I think it is high time that the citizenry
those are
should
very
put their
strong-
political affiliations aside and see the writing on the
Comment
wall.
on this. I want to comment on this. Can
Okay,
I?
those are very
You can
strong
comment
words,
if
Harish
you want
Khurana.
to, but
Yeah,
first
yeah,
learn
Harish
the law.
Khurana. You see,
Rajdeep, I would like
you
to
see,
first-
Harish Khurana, 1 minute. Yeah, no, 1 minute. Harish Khurana, the bottom line is that you've got the Prime Minister came to power, himself a Chief Minister once, and spoke of cooperative federalism, of the need of Team India. He, in his early speeches, would always speak of Team India. What's happened to the Team India? You've instead got, Adil Singh Bopara has given 4 instances where clearly there's a sense that you topple opposition-ruled governments using what is, some say, is various allurements. You're being accused of misusing enforcement agencies. You're being accused of misusing your ordinance powers. Are you creating center-state friction instead of cooperative federalism, Mr. Khurana?
Rajdeep, I think Congress is now become a confused party whether to support or not. When I say this, there is reason behind this. A stalwart Delhi Congress local leader, son of Sheila Dikshit ji, what he said in his tweet, it's a failed government of Kejriwal. He's stuck on deep in corruption that any day, for the first time in the history of this country, an elected CM will go to jail for 8-10 days. The problem is that there is no CM which is more rude. This is Sandeep Dikshit's statement yesterday only, and the Congress is supporting right now. The Congress spokesperson is supporting right now. Same like Ajay Makan. Ajay Makan has tweeted
Permit me to respond.
He stated one instance. He stated one instance about the transfer of when he was a minister.
Please,
Problem is
please
he
permit
don't,
me
he
to
don't want to
respond.
understand. Please. He don't want to understand. We have 5 years of Khuranaji government in Delhi in '93. That time Narasimha Rao ji was the Prime Minister at that time. Very much cordial relationship. 15 years Sheila Dikshit ji was there. 6 years Vajpayee ji was Prime Minister. Very cordial relationship. Have we ever seen any kind of constitutional breakdown? Have we ever seen like Lieutenant Governor to Gali Dena? Have we ever seen like? Please let me complete, boss. Let me complete. Have some self-decency, boss.
No, but Harish Khurana, Adil, no, 1 minute. No, one by one. Harish Khurana,
can I get 30
Adil Singh
seconds,
Bopara is saying that they are standing up for the constitution.
Can
This
I
is
get
not
30
about a
seconds?
party, this is about a constitution. Yes, Adil Singh
It's not
Bopara,
about
very
the-
quickly. Yes.
Khurana sir, please.
It's not about-
Yes,
Khurana
Adil, go
sir,
ahead.
please hold your horses for a moment.
Let
Mr. Sardesai, today we may
Yeah.
have our differences with the Aam Aadmi Party, but today the fact of the matter is that there is a unanimous Constitution bench verdict, and that verdict is the law of the land. It doesn't matter whether it's the Congress, the BJP, the DMK, the TMC. We have to follow the letter of law, and without changing the substratum of the judgment. Without changing the base of the judgment, you bring an ordinance through the back door
but
and nullify a
Mr.
judgment.
Boparai, we cannot stop. Ordinance can be brought in.
No,
the
Mr.
centre
Sardesai,
has
this
the
is
power
legal
to issue
illiteracy.
ordinances, Mr. Boparai.
Please
Let's be very
understand,
clear about that.
Sardesai
Rajdeep,
Saab, this is
Rajdeep, I'd like to
legal
come in, please.
illiteracy. Can I kindly come in 30 seconds, please? This is legal illiteracy of the Bharatiya Janata
Yeah,
Party.
go ahead. Yeah.
You can bring in an ordinance, but you have to change the base of the substratum of the judgment. The base of the substratum of the judgment stands.
Ask your
This is an
local leaders,
assault on the
local
Supreme
leaders.
Court. This is
Ask
an
your
assault
local
on the
leaders,
Supreme Court of
Congress
India.
leaders.
Okay.
Mr.
One
Khurana,
by
you don't understand law. Why are you unnecessarily getting
Okay,
anxious?
one by
Just
one.
hold on.
Harish, one by one. Can I bring in? Okay, can I just bring in just a minute Jasmine Shah? Because Jasmine Shah, here is the Congress party saying today that they will support you because they believe that what is being done is unconstitutional. Do you see this support in terms of a wider political unity? Because you've got the likes of Omar Abdullah who are saying today that when Article 370 was effectively removed, Arvind Kejriwal did not say a word. And that's when the federal spirit, according to Omar Abdullah, was equally damaged when Jammu and Kashmir was reduced from a state overnight into 2 union territories. Therefore, questions are being raised also with the AAP being selective. Now, because you're being targeted by the Modi government, you're suddenly rushing to take support from leaders across the country. Why didn't you speak out earlier when other state governments were also being targeted in some way or the other?
Rajdeep, first of all, this statement of yours is factually wrong because just 2 or 3 months back, Arvind Kejriwal ji, along with 8 other elected chief ministers and former chief ministers, wrote to Prime Minister Modi and said that it seems under the Modi regime, there is a systematic attack to target non-BJP elected governments, reduce their powers either through the offices of governors or lieutenant governors, or by passing ordinances, Tughlaki Farman sitting at the center, nothing but to restrain the non-BJP governments. And I welcome the statement of the Congress, because we are not saying this is the fight of Aam Aadmi Party. This is the fight for constitution, the soul of the constitution. We are an elected government. Tomorrow Congress may be the elected government in Delhi, parso BJP bhi hogi. That doesn't mean we will not allow BJP to govern. Never in the history of India have we faced a problem about peaceful exchange of power after the election process is over. Only and only BJP under Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah seems to not respect people's mandate when it doesn't go in that favor. When it goes in favor, say temple of democracy, आज भारतीय democracy की जीत हुई, लेकिन जब हार होती है, you pull down the other governments in this naked fashion. This is an abuse of power, and therefore it is not our fight. It is a fight for Constitution of India. It is a fight for the Delhi voter. And that is what we are asking all the other opposition parties of. This is not to support our agenda. But we should be able to stand together in the parliament against the blatant dictatorship of Prime Minister Modi.
Can we respond, Rajdeep?
Okay, we are hearing two very contrasting views, but Sanjay Hegde, do you believe, though, that Delhi is an exceptional case because it is the national capital? There will be the lieutenant governor has specific powers, as you said, specific areas, police, land are controlled by the central government. Do you believe that we cannot extrapolate based on what's happened in Delhi with this ordinance to suggest that the BJP government of Narendra Modi is effectively acting, as the AAP is suggesting, as a dictator across the country, that the constitution of the country is under threat?
Well, one must say that what is happening into Delhi, many people fear, may soon be the model for all states hereafter. It is well known that many states are going to be split into smaller units. When that happens, what is the nature of governance? What is the relationship between the center and the states? Then you ask about the unique position of Delhi. Delhi has nearly 3 crore people. You are sitting in a state, Rajdeep, where there must be less than 50 lakh people, citizens or inhabitants. So, to deprive everybody in Delhi of a representative government, just because a certain portion right at the center of Delhi houses the federal government, is not exactly constitutionally right. Today there was an article in one of the newspapers which suggested that only the NDMC area could be made a federal area. The rest of it could behave like any other ordinary state. These are constitutional issues which need to be discussed in Parliament, not to be ruled over only by ordinance.
But you see a pattern in the attempt to overturn this Supreme Court judgment. You believe that this sends out the wrong signal because you believe there is a basic structure doctrine also here at stake. If tomorrow Parliament passes it, would you say then? You're saying Parliament should pass it. Any such changes of this nature, far-reaching nature, should be passed by Parliament, not through an overnight ordinance. That smacks of some kind of authoritarianism. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Otherwise, you have the Supreme Court going into elaborate hearings, spending weeks on the matter, the judgment being, 2 constitution bench judgments being delivered after much consideration. And then if it is to be just overruled by a stroke of the pen, then are we really living under a constitution and the rule of law? Or is it only to be government by decree?
Mr. Sardesai.
Rajdeep, can I?
Okay, so I will give Harish Khurana a final 30 words. Yes, 30 seconds. Because Harish Khurana, you didn't answer my question. This is a Prime Minister who was Chief Minister who spoke of cooperative federalism. What stops, Mr. Kejriwal will also have to answer why he can't work with Mr. Modi. But Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister. Can't these issues, including transfer of bureaucrats, be resolved in a manner which somehow inspires confidence in the people? We, the citizens who elect people, should have the confidence that governments can work harmoniously. You may be politically
Right.
divided, you can work harmoniously.
Rajiv, who is stopping them? I would like to ask the gentleman from Aam Aadmi Party. You're talking about federal corporatism. We have 7 parliaments in parliamentary in Delhi from the BJP. That too elected by the Delhi. How many times you have called them and asked about the Delhi problems? Never. 9 years of this government, they've never called the member of parliament ever. They have also been elected by the people of Delhi only. They want to work for Delhi as you are been elected.
Right.
Never been called. Point number 1. Point number 2. Sanjay Hegde, I don't think so. Hegde ji को दिल्ली का मालूम नहीं होगा. Sir, 93 के अंदर भी when Mr. Khurana was the chief minister, he has requested Prime Minister that time along with leader of opposition Jagprakash Chand. Rajdeep, you are a veteran journalist, you might be knowing it. That time to transfer a MCD commissioner, he requested Prime Minister along with Congress leader of opposition Jagprakash Chand at that time. So things have not been changed. Only Arvind Kejriwal don't want to work and only want to indulge himself in
Okay, so that
Mr. Sardesai, can I get 30 seconds?
Okay, your time is up. My final, my 30 seconds to each of you. First to you, Jasmine Shah. The part of the problem is Arvind Kejriwal also is accused of being authoritarian and dictatorial. At Sheila Dikshit's time, there were no problems. Why only when Mr. Kejriwal becomes chief minister is this continuous battle there between the state government and the centre?
For a very simple reason, Rajdeep, that when Mrs. Sheila Dikshit was the chief minister, the centre allowed Delhi to function within the realms of constitution. But when Mr. Arvind Kejriwal became the chief minister, within 3 months, Rajdeep, the power of services, which now the constitution bench has held as an essential part of the federal structure, was taken away from Arvind Kejriwal. So if you do not allow an elected CM who has made a promise to the people to function, why will there not be clashes? And Arvind Kejriwal is not fighting for himself. He is fighting for the people of Delhi. It would be a disservice to people's vote if he doesn't fight for the rights of the people of Delhi.
Charges. Why only those?
Mr. Sardesai, can I come in, please?
Please
Can I
bring
get
down
30
Mr. Khurana's
seconds?
voice.
Mr. Khurana, you
Adil Singh
cannot
Bopara, your
keep
final 30
lamenting.
seconds. Your final 30 seconds.
Mr. Sardesai.
Yeah, let Mr. Bopara have the final 30 seconds. Yes.
The breathtaking brazenness of the Bharatiya Janata Party is the linchpin of their politics. They're a party which is driven by a fascist ideology. You and I can continue to debate this as much as we want to. This is the centerpiece of BJP politics. They want to oust opposition space from our political firmament. Therefore, the need of the hour is that all opposition parties must unite to save our constitutional ethos. And finally, this is not an attack just on the opposition. This is an attack on the Supreme
Interesting,
Court
you're
of
saying that
India.
you didn't invite Arvind Kejriwal. You didn't invite Arvind Kejriwal to the swearing in of Mr. Siddharamaiah. You invited other opposition leaders.
I don't want to sidestep the real issue. The fact of the matter is this is an assault on the Supreme Court of India. And on behalf of the Congress party, I will urge the Apex Court to take cognizance of this breach by the central government.
Okay, let's leave it there. These are very strong words that have been expressed clearly at the moment. Perhaps we need to look at just how the organs of the state are working at the moment. Are they working in harmony or are we heading for a confrontation? Supreme Court versus the executive, possibly centre versus the states. These are troubling times when ordinances of this nature are moved on a late Friday night, and then we have this fallout. Will it lead to opposition unity is, of course, a question blowing in the wind. Thanks to all my guests for joining me on the show today. Meanwhile, another confrontation that's brewing between the centre and the opposition is over the inauguration of the new parliament building this weekend. Now, the Congress in particular has objected to the manner in which the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to inaugurate the new parliament building, questioning why the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, as the head of state, has not been invited. The BJP has hit back, saying that the Congress is barking up the wrong tree. Listen in.
We, Congress, has expressed its concern as a principal national opposition party. We feel strongly that the constitutional propriety should be maintained, and the Honourable President, who is the head of the Parliament, should be requested by the government to inaugurate. The Prime Minister, Honourable Prime Minister, has every right to be there. We are only pointing out to what is constitutionally correct.
दुख की बात यह है कि जब पूरा लोकतंत्र हर नागरिक गौरवान्वित महसूस करेगा, उस वक्त कहीं ना कहीं हमेशा नकारात्मक राजनीति के लिए राहुल गांधी और पूरी कांग्रेस पार्टी जानी जाती है। आज इस तरह की खींच, इस तरह की नकारात्मकता क्यों सामने आ रही है? आप सपना देखते हैं, आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने वो सपना पूरा किया है, और जिसको ये मोदी महल कहते हैं, ये केवल इनकी जलन और ईर्ष्या है, वो मोदी महल नहीं है, ये एक अनूठी पहल है जिसका स्वागत हर नागरिक कर रहा है।
To another top focus today, the IT city of Bengaluru is in a state of shock after a 22-year-old woman died during flooding that took place in an underpass after rains struck the city yesterday. Bengaluru's crumbling infrastructure has once again been exposed. A city has a new government, but will some things really change? It's our other big story tonight.
Bengaluru's crumbling infrastructure claims another life. A 22-year-old techie, an employee of Infosys, lost her life after she drowned in an accident. Bhanu Rekha died as her cab submerged in rainwater at the KR Circle underpass on Sunday. She, her parents and siblings who had come from Vijayawada had gone for an outing. Local residents and fire force rushed to rescue. While they saved 5 lives, Bhanu Rekha was trapped inside the car. Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah met Bhanu Rekha's family.
ಅಂಡರ್ಪಾಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ವಾಟರ್ ಲಾಗಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಯಾವ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನು ನೀರು ನಿಲ್ಬಾರ್ದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ನೀರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ನ ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಕಾರ್ಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಹೋಗದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಆಲಪೆ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟದೆ.
The Karnataka government has sought a report from the BBMP on all the underpasses in the city.
ಒಂದೇ ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಆಗದೇ ಇರೋಂಗೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಜೀವನ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರದ್ದು ಕಾಪಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ದು.
Former CM Basavaraj Bommai has hit out at the Siddaramaiah government for Bengaluru's rain woes.
There is a mishandling of the whole thing, and the particular drivers have not taken precautions, and it could have been avoided, and timely action by the BBMP could have saved the life.
Potholes and flooding have brought Bengaluru on its knees many times in the recent years. The IT city is in dire need for a reboot. Can the new government give Bengaluru the much needed upgrade? Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's raise more big questions tonight on the show. Who will reboot India's IT city and Bengaluru's crumbling infrastructure? Will the new government there get it right? And joining me now, my two guests today, Revati Ashok is Managing Trustee at the Bengaluru Political Action Committee, and Syed Nasir Hussain is Senior Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress from Karnataka. Appreciate both of you joining us. Revati Ashok, tragic death of a young woman has led us once again to ask the question, governments can change in Karnataka. Will anything change on the ground in Bengaluru? A young girl losing her life when an underpass got flooded in the rains yesterday?
Yes, Rajdeep, it is very, very unfortunate that within 24 hours of the new government getting sworn in, we have this very unfortunate incident once again. And it just brings horrific memories of what happened just last year, not so long ago. It was in September. And we had these horrific rains, which we saw those terrible images of people getting transported in tractors and trucks and whatever else. But what we have seen, the larger issue is climate change is here to stay, and governments cannot hope to ignore climate change anymore. And we have been, ever since we saw the disastrous flood situation in Chennai, we had written to the then government saying that you must create a disaster management cell and you must have a climate resilience plan. And we must ensure that we have all the various things that we need to do to attack climate resilience. Unfortunately, nothing much has been done. And I think this is a wake-up call right from day one for the new government, that there is a lot of work to be done. Simple things. Let me just take this horrible example of this woman getting caught in the floods. I think there has to be, first of all, a huge education of people that when there is rain and there are flash floods, people should not take the risk of going through the underpass during such flooded situations. People don't do it wantonly because they want to risk their lives or want to lose lives. But I think just like in COVID times, the government had very insistently tried to educate people on the need for washing their hands and various other safety measures that they should take. They must send out these messages. As soon as you pick up your phone, it should come out with a message what you should do and what you should not do. So that is one big thing that they can do to hugely educate people, and so that people don't take unnecessary risks. Point number one. Point number two, I think there is a lot of work to be done in the existing underpasses. The existing underpasses are all badly designed. They must have hydrometric sensors where you can see what kind of levels, and there should be a visual cue for people saying that this is the dangerous level that water is reaching. These sensors will provide people, and there should be alarms as well, so that people know visually that it is reaching a dangerous level. Third point, I think very important, you must have pumping, automatic pumping, which will continuously pump. It's not just enough to pump, but you must know where this water will drain off and how it will drain off. All the flyovers and underpasses are extremely prone during these heavy rainfalls, and it is not just once or twice a year. It's raining at all odd times, and climate change is here to stay. So therefore, you must have these water level sensors and pumping systems that should be set into motion immediately. Apart from that, garbage and debris management is a very huge issue, because, garbage and debris management is a very big issue.
I think you're making points which I think, sir, some are short term, some are long term. Can I just for a moment bring in Syed Nasir Hussain? Because, the government has come to power, the Congress is euphoric about coming to power, but Bengaluru, the IT capital, is the centerpiece of Karnataka. 1 in every 4 Kannadigas lives there. And you have seen what happened in June, July last year, and we've seen what's happened now again, just with much less rain. You've already had a tragic death. How conscious is your government? You need a minister for Bengaluru. We all are fighting over ministerial berths. You need a minister for Bengaluru who's going to address some of the issues that Revati Ashok is raising today. You don't even have a BBMP. We don't even have a municipality in Bangalore.
Rajdeep, I think this is only the second day of the government, and in Congress party we are all well aware of what is happening in Bangalore, how Bangalore has seen some of the worst days in the last few years. We know how there are problems when the rains are on in Bengaluru city. This is not the same Bengaluru city which has been there for the last 25-30 years. Lots of population has come in, there's a lot of floating population, there's so many issues that are there. We need to have a dedicated minister only for Bengaluru city. And obviously, when we have planned to take care of the rest of the state, we do have plans for Bengaluru city also. And last time when we were in power in between 2013.
No, so are you giving an assurance on this show that there will be a minister for Bengaluru? Sir, are you giving an assurance on this show that there will be a minister for Bengaluru?
There will be
Mr. D.K. Shivkumar had told me that a couple of weeks ago. There will be a minister just for Bengaluru.
I think there will be a minister for Bengaluru city, and I hope so there will be a minister for Bengaluru city. And we did have a minister for Bengaluru city when our government was there in the past. We will definitely try and have one. because we need to have a separate minister to look after all these issues that have been raised by my co-panelists here. And also there are other issues which needs to be taken care, because this is one of the most happening cities in our country, and this is the fastest growing city in India. We need to have a separate dedicated minister, need to bring in lots of planning, town planning, lots of planning on environment and pollution issues, roads, water flogging, and so on and so forth. For that we need a holistic approach, for which we need a one stop one shop arrangement where all the issues can be taken up in a single ministry. That would be called as a ministry for the city of Bengaluru.
No, but Mr. Nasir Hussain, the fact is that what you said, that it's a happening city. It's a happening city, but it's also a city which is haphazard city. Look at the kind of urban sprawl Bangalore is becoming. There has been no focus on the impact some of these real estate projects which are allegedly linked to the politician builder nexus are coming up in areas of Bengaluru, in and around drains, in and around drainage systems. I mean, there needs to be, is the Congress party realizing that people of Bengaluru want to see a new kind of governance? Instead, what do we see today? Congress workers are sprinkling cow urine at your Bengaluru Vidhan Sauda to say they will purify the government. People want action. They don't want notanki, sir.
We definitely will be in action. If you remember, Rajdeep, and if my co-panelist also remembers, that when we were there in Parliament last time, we did go after all those BBMP officials who had given all kinds of licenses and all kinds of no objection certificates to build all kinds of structures in city of Bengaluru. They were built on stormwater drains, leaving no space for the stormwater to go. That is the reason why we have lots of water flogging all over the city. So we had gone after them. We had brought on certain buildings. We had gone after big malls and big apartment societies who had built certain areas illegally. And I think that kind of action is needed. After that, everything was derailed in the last 4 years. We need to again start those actions against these builders who have not followed the rules, who have illegally built buildings, and we need to open all those stormwater drains for the water to go. Otherwise, if the water doesn't go into the stormwater and goes into the lakes, it will get into the houses, especially in low-lying areas in Bengaluru, especially in the slums. That is the reason why in every pathway, in every flyover, everywhere there is water in Bengaluru. And we will go after that.
As I said, now you are in government. So we'll test you now, sir. Okay, sir. I unfortunately have limited time on this discussion, but I think we will test you. We'll continue to focus on Bengaluru's infrastructure in the days ahead. We'll get many more guests to discuss not just Bengaluru but other Indian cities ahead of the monsoon, how prepared they are for it. But for now, Repti Ashok and Syed Nasir Hussain, I appreciate you joining me on the news today. Thank you very much. Let's take a break at this point. When we return, we'll turn to our good news today story. It comes from Pune.
Where the software engineer meets the gifted content writer, meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Where the software engineer meets the smart market analyst, meets the gifted content writer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
The heart of India's tech industry hosts a tectonic event. The latest updates in technology and innovation. The biggest names in Indian tech under one roof, from AI to 5G. From EVs to data security, discover how technology is transforming our lives. Catch all the action at the BT Tech Today Congress in Bengaluru on June 2nd, live across the Business Today multiverse.
You are with the news today. Let's turn to our Get Real India story. Several parts of the country are witnessing a scorching heat wave and are struggling for drinking water. The situation in Jhargram in West Bengal is so bad that women are having to get water by digging a riverbed. Take a look.
If you want to know what putting the cart before the horse means, come to Bhandarupal village in Jhargram district of West Bengal. 2 years ago, the local authorities built a tank at a cost of 3 lakh rupees to solve the water crisis in the village. But when they later dug a bore well, they failed to find water. What it means is village women have to walk 1 kilometer to a nearby river to collect water. As the water in the river is stagnant, the women dig the riverbed to get clean water.
These villagers are forced to drink the only water source from a river, and these kind of techniques they have been adopted to fetch the water from underground, because there is no water source or no water facility available in these villages, and around 34 families stay in this village.
जलर व्यवस्था एरकम है कादा जल आनते हैं नदीले वर्षा काल पिछला है उठते पारेनी भूमि है जर है असुख है नदी जाते पारेनी বাড়ির সব লোকই জলই খাচ্ছে এখানে গ্রামটা আমাদের যতটা অতটারই সবাই লোকই নদীর জলই খায় ওই জল দিয়ে অসুবিধা হচ্ছে যে পায়খানা হয় বমি হয় শরীর খারাপ হয় তো দমে মাসে মাসে শরীর খারাপ হয় ওই বমি হয় পায়খানা হয় ওই নদীর জল খাই করে কোনো ব্যবস্থা করতে হবে ভালো করে কুইয়া সাবমার্শাল বানাই দিতে হবে তো নাইলে আমরা কি করে জল খাবো
The administration says efforts are on to fetch water from nearby sources. But villagers say they have only been getting assurances. The water tank is a white elephant for the villagers. It's of absolutely no use.
তো আমাদের সাহারিতে আগে থেকেই সমস্যা আছে তো বাকি অন্য জায়গা থেকে বোরিং করে সেগুলো আমাদের জলের সাপ্লাই দেওয়ার একটা সিদ্ধান্ত জেলা থেকে আমাদের নিয়েছে এবং সেখানে আমাদের কাজকর্ম কিছুদিনের মধ্যে আরম্ভ হয়ে যেতে পারে
India has set an ambitious target of taking drinking water to every household by 2024. Bhandarupal village, it seems, is likely to miss the bus. With Anupam Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
To tonight's Good News Today story, which comes from Pune. Amidst scorching weather conditions in several parts of the country, the people of Pune have decided that they want to help the animals of the city, especially stray dogs. What have they done? They put water bowls across the city. It's an initiative of an NGO that could well be emulated across the country. Take a look.
Summers are devastating for stray animals. The scorching heat wave means animals living on the street struggle for water. Karma Foundation is on a mission to make life easy for stray animals.
This water bowl challenge is also one of such initiatives where we know during the scorching heats of summer has to provide the basic requirement for the health of the pet, which is water, and hence we are actually donating the water bowls.
These water bowls are a big relief for stray animals living under the open sky in sweltering weather. Karma Foundation has requested people to join their movement by placing a bowl of water outside their home or workplace. Bureau Report, India Today.
That's it on the show today. We leave you with our image today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is quite a rock star when it comes to the Pacific Islands. First Papua New Guinea, now Fiji. In Papua New Guinea, the Prime Minister of that country greeted Mr. Modi by bending to offer to seek his blessings. And in Fiji, Mr. Modi was given a special award by that country. He's now in Australia. You're in India if you're watching the show, or anywhere in the world. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubh Ratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.
A bold experiment in women's empowerment. A self-help group led by the Panchayat head of Dawa village in Bihar's Bhojpur district has set up a plant to manufacture sanitary napkins. They are not only providing sanitary pads at a low cost to women in rural areas, but also creating employment opportunities for women.
ये जो योजना है ये हम लोगों ने बेसिकली उस वक्त शुरू किया जब कोरोना